welcome to Genius School's webinar. So great to see you all. Today we're going to be talking about educating for the future and what that means and what Genius School are doing about it and what part you can play should you choose to join us. So I would like to just let me share my screen. Karen, can you be my super duper screen tester person, please?
Yeah, it's looking good there, Angie.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce my colleague here, Karen Bonano. Karen is the leader of our Young Entrepreneur Academy, and she's one of the key leadership team here at Genius School. And my name's Angie Stead. I'm the co-founder of Genius School and leading these programs. So that's us introduced. Great to see you here, and we shall get on our way. So when we're looking at educating for the future, we can't help but look at the future. And one of the tools we use with our young entrepreneurs is the United Nations Sustainable Goals, Sustainable Development Goals. And we use these as a tool to get our young people to think bigger, and of course for us too. So in 2015, the United Nations pledged that between now and 2030, that they were going to end poverty and hunger everywhere in the world, and also combat inequalities within and among other countries. And most of you will be aware of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and obviously ours is quality education. So that's a huge promise and a huge global commitment, and very worthy too. But all evidence reveals that we're in the midst of a global learning crisis that threatens every country's efforts to solve the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's pretty massive. And the reason that we're in this crisis is the learning poverty crisis. It's that we won't have enough human capital, according to research by the World Bank. So attaining the Sustainable Development Goals is at risk because of this. And, you know, when we think of ending world poverty, extreme poverty, then we can't help as educators but to think about the learning poverty crisis as well. So when we talk about human capital, what we mean is the skills, knowledge, and experience possessed by an individual or a population viewed in terms of their value or cost to an organization or indeed to their country. So and these are the skills and know-how needed for the jobs for the future as well. And recent research says that the pandemic can push another 72 million children into learning poverty. And there are many, many reasons for that. Access to schooling is one, but also access to having their basic human needs met so that they can learn, as well as the children not being able to access schooling, but also parents not knowing how to educate their children, not knowing where to start, and children becoming disengaged because, you know, what they knew as the norm, going to school and having a set rhythm and a ritual that, yeah, might not be perfect, but at least it was familiar to them and they felt safe in that. And all of that has shifted with the pandemic and had a massive, massive impact on learning for most, if not all, children. So the statistics show, according to the World Bank, that 53% of children in low to middle income countries are deemed as in learning poverty. And in poor countries, this is as high as 80%. So really scary statistics. And progress in reducing learning poverty is far too low to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. And if we carry on tracking as we are, we're not going to meet those goals by 2030. So education initiatives alone are not enough. And we know this. You know, there is that amazing African proverb, which is, it takes a village to raise a child, or it takes a community to raise a child. So the fight against learning poverty will require an integral, multi-sectoral approach, supported by actions beyond the education sector. So, and beyond this, renewed attention is needed to the role of families. What role do families, do parents and communities play in building the demand for education and creating the right environment for learning? And the pandemic, we have the pandemic to thank for the massive shift in the change to when, where, and how our children are educated. And this can be deemed as positive or negative, but it's certainly going to shift education. And I see that as a positive. So the 3 keys to educating for the future are that learners are well prepared and motivated to learn, with a stronger emphasis on the whole child development and supporting learning that continues beyond the school environment. And I'm just going to read this one. Key number 2 is that teachers are effective and valued, and they're ready to take on an increasingly complex role of facilitators of learning at and beyond school with the use of education technology. And we've all seen this, haven't we? And if we've not experienced it directly ourselves, we know people who have been directly impacted by children's inability through COVID to actually attend school, to go to school or leave the home environment. And so a lot of education has gone online, but the sad thing is that most of it has been delivered in a traditional school day with siloed subjects and et cetera, And so what we're saying here is that education has to change, and that teachers have to be facilitators of learning and not be the font of all wisdom, delivering knowledge to students. And I know that's not most teachers' approach right now, but our system still supports that way of teaching. And key number 3 is that learning resources, including curricula, are diverse and high quality. And diverse is the key there to support good pedagogical practices and personalised learning. So there are some very interesting statements there. You know, it's all right to know what it means to facilitate a learning experience, but how does the child experience that? What does it actually look like in practice? It's not about the theory of the curriculum, it's about how it looks from the experience of the child and their worldview. And it's so important that children are taken on a personalised learning journey. And we know that children experience education, experience learning in diverse ways, as do we. So when we have facilitators, for example, delivering our programs, then we make sure they understand multimodal learning and they understand the different learning diverse needs of every individual and how to personalize learning for those children. So are we all good? If anybody has any comments or questions, please do put them in chat and then we can come to them in a moment. So the solution, certainly as Genius School sees it, as we see it here, is that we need to look at whole child education and personalised learning, one of the 3 keys. And our curriculum is based around self-awareness, which is understanding ourselves, our unique selves, because it's in our uniqueness that our genius lies. And then knowing how we think, how we learn, how we lead, how to express ourselves, you know, emotional intelligence, understanding what our emotions are telling us, and to listen to the guidance that comes through that, in order to then express ourselves cognitively, artistically, emotionally, and also bring our unique gifts and talents to the world. And as we do that, we're on a journey of self-mastery, because obviously learning is about the reflective process, about thinking about our learning and about the learning journey, and taking time to reflect as we're on our path on the hero's journey to mastering our unique abilities and talents in order to make a very positive contribution to society. So the Genius School curriculum is based around, sorry, I've seemed to have, sorry guys, bear with me a second. So sorry. I'm having a few technology challenges here. Back, all right, here I go again. I lost the slides completely. Our Genius School curriculum, like I said, is around self-mastery, which is knowing and growing your unique talents, passions and purpose on that learning journey. About being able to be an authentic leader, developing team communication and relationship skills, which is so important. Life skills, obviously, reading, writing, arithmetic, language, living, health and happiness, so important. If we want to make a value contribution to society, we need to be fulfilled ourselves, because after all, we can't give what we haven't got. And then self-expression, exploring creativity, music, art, and etc. And we do this through a journey of discovery, building skills in planning, research, and decision making, learning about finance, enterprise, entrepreneurship, and resourcefulness. That's developing all those positive dispositions for learning. And that's how we become a lifelong learner. Obviously, using technology too, learning critical thinking, coding, and future technologies. And some of us have been on a very steep learning curve with technology over the past year or so. And then, of course, being a global citizen. So understanding nature and sustainability, but also being aware that we are all global citizens. And that's something too that the pandemic has certainly made us a lot more aware of. There's none of us alone in this situation right now. So, and as we do this, we are developing the necessary skills for future success. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with this as well, which is the 6 C's. These are considered the necessary skills for future success, and also the skills for growing human capital. So that's the character education, knowing who we are, being of good character, taking responsibility, etc. Being the global citizen, being able to communicate effectively and collaborate with others in doing so, creativity and imagination, being a creative problem solver, and also critical thinking and problem solving too. So they're the skills necessary for future success, and certainly for being an effective citizen and value to society. So we in Genius School have opportunities for educators to train to deliver our products, our Genius School Young Entrepreneur Academy camps, and also the Teen Quest and profiling and debriefing. And we certify educators to use our tools and our programs to ignite the genius in children, helping them to create a job for themselves in order to make a valuable contribution to society. Excuse me. Essentially, we're building human capital. So we also have programs for teens, and some of them I've just mentioned, but excuse me, sorry. Sorry. But also an online curriculum that we're developing as well for students, as well as come September, we expect to have our first location-based school in the US. So that's really exciting. And the reason we talk about the word genius a lot is because we believe that at Genius School, we believe that it's what's unique about an individual is what makes them special. And very often we look at other people and we tend to think that we want to be, particularly teens, they want to be like their peers. They think it's cool to be the same as everybody else. And in fact, are often teased for being different. Whereas we think, let's celebrate the differences. Let's shine a light on what's unique and special about you, because that's where your genius lies. And the meaning of the word genius is derived from 2 Latin terms called genius, meaning as above, and ingenium, a related noun referring to our innate dispositions, talents, and inborn nature. So we're actually taking the true meaning of the word and we're saying, let's shine a light on that. Let's teach every young person that they are unique and special, perfectly imperfect individuals, and we're going to help them see how and why. And in doing that, we're beginning to blend the whole concept of the divine and the talented. and helping them to find their unique path to success. And our magic formula is that we integrate our personalized learning curriculum with our global community of 1 million plus. In fact, I think it's a lot more than that now, entrepreneurs. And we have Genius U, which is the online portal where we have micro degrees and other programs and courses for both adults and teens to support them on their lifelong learning pathway. And this is pretty new. We've got a lot of free stuff up there already, and obviously opportunities for other people to come up with their programs and their content on there too, for others to either access for free or to buy, and for you to earn revenues from that. So we personalize education through our free tools, but also through facilitating learning experiences, understanding that everybody is unique and talented. And I love this quote by Albert Einstein, which is, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. And that's so true. You know, there's nothing so unequal as the equal treatment of unequals. And this is where it gets back to focusing on what's different and what's unique about every single individual, and help them to see how special they are. And, you know, another great quote here is, if a child can't learn the way we teach them, maybe we should teach them the way they learn. And this is the key to good facilitation. And we have tools and training in Genius School that support educators, parents, teachers to facilitate personalised learning experiences. So I feel like I need to stop and have a drink of water, but also this is the perfect time to hand over to Karen, who is going to talk about education and the skills today. Karen, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I just realised that. Thank you. I always like working tag team with you, Angie. So while I'm getting ready to share my screen, I was just realising that the image that you had in front of us, if I just go back to that, it reminds me of kind of the standardised testing that we would have in a traditional schooling environment, that all of our little schoolies are sitting here, all sitting for the same test. And so hence, I think this quote is most relevant. But anyway, I digress. Let me go to talking about this particular document in the context of what Angie said, that we really need to be looking at connecting with kids in the way that they learn, rather than in a kind of knowledge filling component. We need to be thinking about the natural way that kids learn and how they respond. And so I was really delighted this week to find this article, and also being endorsed also by the World Economic Forum. And I'll just go to that. So hopefully, Angie, you can let me know if that's up. If you can just, because I can't see any cameras.
Hello,
I just,
you're good.
all right, it's good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm working with a different computer, so it's just finding my feet here with this. But this is really important for us to see. This article was actually written back in 2020, last year. And of course, we know that there are lots of things that have changed and shifted the way, not only that we do education, but the way that we work and we live and we play, all those sorts of things. And so this is talking about the future world scenarios of how education can be delivered. And I'm really keen to be able to share with you that this is really where Genius School is touching base on a lot of these particular scenarios. So if we think about the school being extended, Genius School is offering that complementary and alternate way that a child can be educated, connecting in with their natural genius and then building on that. So here we've got here international collaboration, technology advances supporting more individualized learning. And then also to education being outsourced. So a lot of our Genius educators who come and join us are part of that outsourcing community, whereby they're being involved in schools, delivering programs. And so they're able to then be a part of that education outsource component. So it means that education can be more personalised, more privatised, more flexible to meet the needs of the learner where they actually are. And then the school as a learning hub, well, a lot of our programs that we do are very much like that. We go beyond the walls. We connect globally, and we've had recent programs where we've had kids from around the world joining us all in the one space. So it becomes so exciting when we can connect the kids in this way. And then I'll share with you in a moment an upcoming program that we've got where it'll be exactly that case scenario as well, opening up the school walls, connecting kids in community, and also getting them engaging in authentic, realistic ways so that we get that civic engagement and social innovation. And the last one is more about the opportunities there for Genius educators who are accredited with Genius School, is that they're able to set up their own micro degrees and courses and micro schools on the Genius U platform, which is a global education platform. And that means that people can come in and get connected. They can come in and access something for free. For instance, the little tests that Angie referred to before, the Genius test, the Passion test, the Purpose test, they're all little micro degrees that are there that give that grounding and that foundation to then build on to develop the skills and capabilities of a young person. So keeping that in mind, these are the different programs that we currently have within our suite of tools and products and programs that we offer, and they build on the natural genius at different levels and at the meeting needs of the kids as they learn. So it's facilitating that personalised learning. So for example, I talked about something that's coming up very soon. This particular Genius Camp, that image that Angie's popped in there, that's a Genius Camp coming up this weekend, where it's going to be a 3-day, half-day virtual event where we'll be connecting in with kids from around the world and getting their whole level of self-awareness, self-expression, and starting to get them looking at some of the self-mastery that they need to develop these skills that they'll need for the future and to address that poverty learning gap that is becoming more evident. So that's virtual. We also, well, prior to COVID, we were doing them face to face. And of course, we had to move swiftly into a virtual space. And we're just delighted and excited to say that we've done it successfully. We've run 2 or 3 micro camps virtually, and really excited about the way that it's gone global and the way that we've actually had some major transformation with kids. Particularly kids who come in who've been able to be supported in some way, and we've seen some amazing results that happen, and their whole change that also impacts then onto their family, because in the micro camp we also have a family session as well to help the parents or the caregivers understand their child and how they can learn at their best through understanding their genius. And then the Teen Quest is a 4-week virtual high tech. And this is all about skill development for the future. So Angie referred to the 6 C's. And so this is all about integrating those into a program, which is getting kids to be thinking and interacting with information in a responsible way, developing their digital citizenship capabilities, understanding what it is to work in a digital environment, learning all of that, and then also then coming out with something at the end, which is addressing by way of a persuasive, purposeful message on how we can make change happen within our world for the common good. So addressing some of those United Nations sustainable goals through that particular quest. And then we have our Young Entrepreneur Academy program, where this is taking kids into an entrepreneurial mindset. It's saying to them, hey, you don't really need to go through the whole formal way of progressing through school, university, and then getting a job in that capacity. You can actually undertake this in a safe environment, learn how to do that. And we've just recently finished a Young Entrepreneur Academy program where we had around about 20 or so young people, teens, joining us, and with many of them going away and being very active straight away in their business opportunities. And we've had a real mix of businesses, from beekeeping to digital marketing to journaling to relaxing essential education and gift sets. It's a real mix, but we're there all the time working with the kids. And this is how Genius educators can be involved in our programs. They're there in learning how to facilitate. They're there supporting the kids. They're there actually being able to make a change to a young person's life. So these are all the different programs that we've got within our suite of junior school activities. So I'm hoping that inspires people. So Angie, I'm just going to stop sharing and come back over to you.
Cool. Thank you, Karen. And now I was just thinking, Karen, you were talking about the camps, and yay, what's one of the biggest moments for you through either the camp or yay that you think I've really made a difference and this was such a great thing to experience? Can't hear you, Karen.
I'm trying to minimize the external noise that's happening out in the street here at the moment. But anyway, so yes, so probably one of the biggest things is when you have feedback from the attendees and they tell you. So we had one young teen, 12 years of age, and she said that she got really anxious at school and was really not sure about whether she was really able to learn at her best, and really felt that she should do better but didn't know how to do it. And then at the end of it, the micro camp, there was this total turnaround where she said, oh, now I know my genius. Now I can own it. Now I know that I can play to my Lord's strengths, which is all about being detail smart. And also too, because of this, I'm really confident to be able to know that because of this is who I am, I now know that I can be of value to others. And within the camp, she said, I also know about the other genius as well. So I know how to help others. So that was a massive shift from someone who's really anxious, a little bit scared, feeling that they're underperforming and underachieving, to at the end of the 3 half days, to be able to say, look, I can own who I am and I can step up in that area.
That is so cool. And this is a prime example of what it means as a genius educator to facilitate personalized learning and develop a child's self-awareness. And, you know, I remember we were in Thailand, I think, another one of our programs, and we had a young man there who was really quite shy to begin with. And he was he was a bit cool and not wanting to participate and not feeling very confident. And after the whole day's experience, he shared that with us, that the biggest learning he got was that he thought his chemistry teacher hated him. And by becoming more aware of himself and his own genius, he realized actually his chemistry teacher didn't hate him at all. He was just completely opposite in profile, and he didn't understand him. And so he went to that he couldn't wait to get back to school and to participate in that lesson from a whole different point of confidence and self-awareness. So there's some amazing, amazing transformations. And just before we go on, I know we've got a few of our genius educators here, but I can see Kerry. I'm wondering, Kerry, would you like to share from your own experience as an educator, what it's like to facilitate these programs, or your experience?
Sure, thank you. Hello, everybody. I do have somebody mowing the lawn outside, so if it gets a bit loud, please let me know. So I've been a genius educator for 2 years now. I've just renewed my 2-year license. I think it was a couple of years ago. We were lucky enough to be overseas and do an certification. I have done some face-to-face camps with Karen, and now I'm leading some virtual camps, and we'll be leading the one coming up in April. Next week now. This weekend, sorry. So coming from my point of view as an educator, like the ladies have said, I think seeing the change in the students is amazing throughout the 3-day camps. For me personally, it's given me my own confidence to now grow my business alongside Genius School, and being able to kind of incorporate both my learnings from the certification program and just learning in general to be able to bring them together. And just being a part of a community with like-minded goals and like-minded missions, I think is very powerful. So it's definitely a pleasure to be a part of the team and being able to impact teams globally now.
Thanks, Kerry. And it's so cool to have you part of our community too. And you are making a massive difference, believe me. Thank you for sharing. And if anyone has any questions as we go, please do put them in chat and we'll find time to come back to those. In the meantime, I shall go back to sharing screen. Are we all good, Karen?
Yeah, just it says chat is open on the side there. So do you see it says Karen and Angie? Karen has left just over on the right hand side. That little, yeah, just close that. Yeah. That's better.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Just gives us a bit better screen view. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So in the context of talking about opportunities for educators, as Karen shared before, we have many free tests and free micro degrees available to anybody signing up to Genius U. So we have the Genius test, lots of free micro degrees of Rogers up there for entrepreneurs and educators, and the passion and purpose test. So I encourage anyone to get on if you're not there and just have a play around and certainly take those micro degrees. So you can choose your level of participation if you want to be part of Educating for the Future. So there's the free content I've just been talking about, but what we teach our teams is that we are on a learning and earning journey, and we teach this through the promotion plans. And our goal is that anyone on this journey with us is earning whilst they're learning as we go through that whole hero's journey or promotion cycle, whatever it might be. So in keeping true to that, we have opportunities for educators from any walk of life, whether you're a parent, a homeschooler or teacher, or even, we have some doctors, we have some ed psychologists, etc., all part of our community. And they, each and every one of those people can choose the level at which they want to play. They can be part of the community and just make a difference by spreading the word and use all our free content that's available to anybody, or you can be a youth consultant. Now, a youth consultant would do our online micro degree, and they would know how to profile and debrief young people. And also youth consultants can come and volunteer, be volunteer mentors at our camps, our 2-day camps or 4-day virtual camps. But then we have the biggest opportunity, which is being a certified Genius educator. So a certified Genius educator can do everything below, of course, still do the youth consultant work, get the free content, be part of the community, but they can also implement what we teach through the Genius Educator program, which I'll share more about in a second, into their education business with their teams, into the classroom, or you can actually come and be paid to facilitate our programs or co-facilitate our programs, depending on the level you want to play at. So our Genius Educator certification has 2 parts, a certification and accreditation. They're both included in the same program. It's just whether you choose to come and facilitate our YAY program or whether you just participate in the other programs at a different level. So we'll talk more about that anyway, a bit later on. And obviously then for people who want to come and play a bigger game with us, then they can choose to partner with us with their own business or their own products or services, providing it fits with the Genius School curriculum and philosophy. Then that's something we're happy to look at on a case-by-case basis as well. But for the purpose of this call, we're looking at the Genius Educator certification. So our GEC program is $4,500, but we're offering that right now for just $2,500, and we can offer payment plans as well for those who might want to pay by installments. So, and the actual program is total value 14,000 because we've packaged in all these little extras that we think will really accelerate your learning journey as an educator. So you would do your flow consultant training with the Genius Educator online certification. So that's basically teaching you all about the talent dynamics and team dynamics profiles and how to actually do a debrief with a child and an adult. So you can go and be paid to debrief children and families. Then you have the 10-day virtual Genius Educator training course. So that's what Kerry was talking about before. Kerry's lucky; she's done both the face-to-face and the virtual. Well, I'd say we were the lucky ones actually having Kerry on our in our community. But hey, works both ways. And then we also have the hands-on facilitator training during our programs too. So you do the 2-week intensive, which is recorded as well. So if you find that you're not always available at the set times, we have the content recorded, and then we can do separate implementation sessions with you. So and we have the facilitator training, which is for people who want to be paid to facilitate our YAY program. Then you would actually come and co-facilitate a program with us, and that would form your practical training as a facilitator. And then you'd be invited then, should you meet the criteria, or I guess pass the test to use education like school language, then you would be invited to be paid to facilitate our programs. Included in that is 25 talent dynamics and talent dynamics for young people tokens. So you get 25 of each. And the reason we give you a whole bunch like that is we want you to be earning money straight away. So as soon as you pay for this program, you can go and earn double your money back by just doing profiling, either just selling the tokens or doing profiles and debriefing young people. So we want to give you the very best start and lots of opportunity to practice. And it also includes the 12 months Genius Educator certification license. And that means that you're part of our core community. So you get invited into our exclusive Genius Educator Facebook and Genius U group. You get opportunities to participate in programs. You hear about what we're doing before anybody else. And you get to work with the core leadership team on any ideas and things that you might maybe want to bring into the Genius School curriculum. And you also have the opportunity too to put your own content up as micro courses on Genius U. And we're also giving you access to the Crisis Leadership Academy Entrepreneurs Summer School micro course. So, and the reason we're doing that is we want to accelerate your success and give you the best opportunity to really make a difference, even if it's just using your tokens and promoting yourself as a Flow Consultant Genius Educator. So the potential earnings from being an accredited Genius Educator are $5,000 plus per month. Again, as with anything, it depends on the level you want to play at, whether you want to go out and promote yourself as an educator and do the profiling and debriefing, or whether you want to be paid to facilitate our programs, or to implement your learnings to create your own products or improve your own practice if you're a homeschooler or a teacher. So if anybody has any questions, Karen, can you be my question looker outer, please?
Sure, will do, thanks.
Thank you. So just a brief overview of the course content. And obviously this is only a very brief summary because it's a full 2-week program. It runs from the 15th to the 26th of March. And the course content is access to micro degrees on Genius U. So you will be activated within 48 hours of taking your booking. And that's for the Genius Educator and Flow Consultants micro degrees. Now that's approximately 26 hours of content. So we don't recommend you do it all in one go. That once you have access, you can do that over a period of time at your own pace. And obviously you'll be part of our Genius Educator community by then. So if you do have any questions or you struggle with anything, then you can reach out to us. It includes the 10-day online training where you'll learn to structure learning experiences to work holistically with children, and hands-on facilitator training during our programs. Now for the facilitator training, you would be booked onto the next event. So it can be a few months between the theory and then actually being able to come and practically facilitate and put into practice your learning within Genius School programs. You can practice straight away within your own. then obviously the 25 and 25 young people and TD tokens. And also our educators can also buy wholesale. So if you found that you were having so many profiling and debriefing programs and selling so many tokens, then you can buy at a special rate that's not accessible to anybody who's not a flow consultant or a Genius educator. And it includes the 12 months license. That gives you access to our community, and also you'll be on our monthly calls, which are there, as I say, to guide you, to support you, and to give you the first opportunities on anything new that Genius School has going. Or also, if you wanted to bring your content into Genius School, then you would need to be a certified educator to do that. So that's essentially what's covered. To give you a brief idea of how you can earn your $5,000 per month, then here's some examples. Profiling and debriefing young people, we say the recommended price for doing a profile and debrief is $297 for each person, and we often offer a family debrief for $497, because obviously you're doing the one call or the one visit, and you're doing more of a group debrief, so you can make it a better deal to do the whole family at once. So that's anything from just under $300 to just under $500 for a couple of hours work. You can facilitate and or lead Genius Microcamps or the Young Entrepreneur Academy program, and that would be an experience not to be missed. We've done 2 programs over the last few months, and it's such an amazing experience. Those young people stay in our hearts forever, and hopefully stay visible with the success they're having with their new businesses and the amazing plans they come up with. And doing that, depending on the level of participation, you could come in as a mentor speaker and earn $800, or you could co-facilitate or facilitate and earn up to $3,000. So then that's entirely up to you, whichever level you want to play at. And at the moment, our Young Entrepreneur Academy is a virtual program over 4 weeks, but we do hope that once we can all travel again, that we'll do face-to-face programs of the same content as well. And also then by invitation only, you can become a Genius School partner or co-create products or services with us. So if anybody is interested in learning more about this, even if you're not sure and think you may be interested, then I would recommend that you take action and just book a call and have a conversation with one of our team, and see if our programs are good for you, if it's something you'd like to do, and if they're suitable, or and just have an exploratory conversation. So the calls are absolutely free. You'll always get value from any conversation you have. So I would recommend just take this link, which may already be in chat, because I know Karen is super duper efficient. But if it's not, we can stick it in chat for you right now. Karen, have you grabbed that link?
Well, I made sure I lived up to my reputation of being super duper, Angie. So yes, I did put that in.
See, I know, because it's true. and I just want to say that never forget this, that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. And that's a fantastic quote by Nelson Mandela. And it's certainly one that I believe in wholeheartedly. So does anybody have any questions, or any of our Genius educators, or especially Karen, have anything you'd like to
I was
add?
just thinking, Angie, if people did want to ask, they can unmute and ask a question, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
So now's the time to do that.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes or so, so we're all good if anybody does have questions.
I was just going to say that if people were wondering what the time commitment would be over those couple of weeks doing the Genius Educator certification, on Monday and Wednesday, it's only an hour, and they're more question answer, looking at implementation, Angie and myself and some of the other educators supporting you. And then on the Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, that's 3 hours. Now, depending on your time zones, that's working in New Zealand, Australian time. So for our US colleagues, it's the day before. So you'll be able to, access the times, and also too, we have lots of recordings available too, so that you can always go back and review them. If you find, wow, that 3 hours was pretty intense, you can go back and look at the recording. So, and we're always there to answer your questions and help you through the program.
And we've got a great question here from Robin Payne. How many teachers get involved with the Teen Quest, Microcamp and Yay? Are teachers from different profiles available to the students? Teaching during the sessions? Yeah. Are different profiles available and teaching during the sessions so students get a different perspective? And also how it potentially becomes a mix of one-to-one learning combined with group sessions. So some really good questions there. So I will talk about, just briefly, I'll talk about Yay, and then I'll hand over to you, Karen, for the Camps and Teen Quest. So for Young Entrepreneur Academy, the key facilitators so far have been Karen and myself. Now, the interesting thing is we're both creator profiles. However, Karen is a lot more steel than I am. And even though I'm an introverted creator, I have a lot less steel energy than Karen. And it works really, really well because we understand each other, because we know how the profiles work. We understand the secondary profiles, and we make this part of the conversation with teams. So, facilitation is about being on a learning journey with them and collaborating and communicating really effectively as we go. So it's not us being up there as the experts. So we do it, it's a very conversational, very communicative and supportive delivery style. But then we also have mentors, and we have 2 or 3 mentors a week that come in and do guest sessions, and they are a whole host of different profiles. And again, because this is part of the Genius School culture and part of the conversation, we introduce them by their name, by their authority, but also by their profile. And we, even when we debrief, we're talking about the experience, we talk about their energy, and we make it part of it. It's the learning is embedded through the conversations that we have through Yay. That's just on the profiles, using that as an example. But we definitely scaffold the learning and make sure that we're building layer upon layer, so that it's not just a chunk of information thrown at them. It's actually an experiential learning process. So, Karen, do you want to talk to the Teen Quest and camps, or?
Yeah, well, I can do that as well, and answer a question that's come in from Namid, which is about the size of the groups. So when we have our larger mentor sessions, we try to keep our group size to about 20. So that's the group sessions. But then when we get into the smaller group implementation facilitation sessions, we look at a ratio of about 1:6. So that's 1 adult to 6 children. And then also, particularly for the Teen Quest and the Yay, we offer one-on-one sessions as well. So in the context of the Yay, when they're having their business promotion plan, we will do a one-on-one session with them to help them to really fine-tune and answer their questions about what they'll have. And then for the Teen Quest, it's the same. As they get that purposeful project in place, we'll work one-on-one. So we start with large group, down to smaller group, down to one-to-one. And that's paced, yes. Yeah. So that's paced throughout the whole program. For our micro camps, it's the same. We'll have a maximum of 25, and then we will also have that same similar ratio of 1 adult to about 6 children. And so again, the main program is in a larger group, and then we'll do breakout sessions. So what we're doing is we're using the educational technology in as many different ways as possible to help us to have those different scenarios for the kids and how we work. And also too, going back to the teachers, what we try and do is kind of look at the profiles of the actual teachers, and then look at how we we put them with particular groups of kids. So there's a lot of pre-planning goes on before we actually go live into a micro camp or a teen quest or a yay, and it's based on how we group the people together so that the kids get to understand their profile as well as the others, and they have a mix of profiles with the Genius educators as well.
And we make it real and we have fun with them too. So, you know, we might playfully tease each other on profiles, or, you know, talk about little quirky ways that different profiles might have, because, you know, it's actually okay to do that in a safe environment. So, because we want our teams to be relaxed, and it's really, really interesting. You can more or less see the profiles before they even start to interact, even though we know what they are before. You can see it by how they engage with the technology and with us. It's so cool.
Yeah, so we always try and look at the child might have a profile in their report, but we always go from the position of until that child really says, this is me, or they demonstrate and exhibit certain attributes and strengths and capabilities in their profile, then we'll kind of keep working until we know, okay, this is it. And so it's really a case of we're consciously aware of the details when it comes to their profiles. And then when we know that, we know how we can support them. So if we see them sitting back a little bit and being a bit withdrawn, we know because of our education how to bring them out and make them feel safe. And then for also the kids who are a little bit more exuberant and want to be right up front with everything, and as in a classroom situation, oh, put the hand up, pick me, we kind of manage all of that as well. And it's because we understand how to work with the profiles, and all our educators are trained in this way as well.
Manage their enthusiasm.
Yes.
And we have a question from Dolly. What, if any, is the upper age limit for Teen Quest and the Yay program? So we tend to say up to about 18, because then we believe that they could go on the entrepreneurial journey, but we wouldn't exclude anybody who was 19. For example, I don't know about your Teen Quest, Karen. What's your upper age?
The upper age is 18 as well, because it's teaching them more about future skills. But you know, there is the chance to accommodate someone who might be on a cusp of 18 turning 19 in that time. But it's really all about future ready skills for them. Robin has a question about whether educators, teachers are qualified in the traditional sense. Yes, we probably have, maybe a third, if not more, of our educators are qualified in that they have those amazing letters after their name. But really, you know, it's a case of you can have a BA or a doctorate or whatever, but we tend to focus on, okay, we have those people who have the traditional educational pathway, but we also have people who are coming from a homeschooling. So they have been educating their children in a homeschool environment for a number of different years. We have people who come from early childhood. So we have a range of people who come from different backgrounds where we have them involved and engaged as educators.
Yeah, and we've got, like I was saying before, like some of our teachers have got PhDs. Some of them are education psychologists. And like Karen says, some have got no formal, so to speak, formal training, but lots of experience. But I know from my own personal experience that teachers having that formal qualification at whatever level, it does always translate into knowing how to facilitate personalized learning experiences. And some people who don't have any qualifications, again, doesn't mean they can't do it. So it's about that whole pedagogical practice. You know, it's all right knowing it in theory, but what does it look like when you're actually having that interactive experience with a young person? So what we teach is very, very practical. Yes, there's theory behind it too, but it's taught in a very practical way that a qualified teacher, having done years of study, can still go and take what we've taught them and apply it in a very easy to understand practical sense. And we use some of the unique tools to Genius School, like team dynamics and talent dynamics, as a tool from which to teach about diversity and inclusive practice, etc. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Karen?
No, Angie, not at this stage.
any final questions? We need to shoot off as we're going to see our Young Entrepreneur Academy graduates for one of their bonus sessions. So we're quite excited to go and see them. Not that we want to leave you necessarily, but we love working with the team. So if there's no final questions, I would just encourage anybody, if you're thinking about it, book a call to learn more. And if not, keep in touch. Get onto Genius U and, you know, keep an eye on what we're doing, because there might be a right time for you in the future. But hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody, for attending.